Hi, my name's Leanne. I'm an interior designer and a teacher, and I'm part of the research team in the QT HEAL project. So PICU is the Paediatric Intensive Care Unit at the Children's Hospital, and our focus in this project with HEAL is the parent experience. So we've chosen to really delve into the parents' journey, their story, their experience in a day-to-day way, and what it's like being a parent of an intensely unwell child. With wayfinding and interior design as our two design focus areas with this project, we really needed to make sure we spent time in the space. So we've been having weekly site visits to PICU, really embedding ourselves in the space, getting to know the staff, meeting with families in quite an incidental and casual way.
So the staff of the Paediatric Intensive Care Unit at Queensland Children's Hospital are committed to liberating children from critical illness. The PICU Partnership Project evolved to enable the co-creation of a more healing environment for families and staff. And we really embrace the notion of it takes a village to raise a child. So we set about creating both digital tools and a physical environment that supported the creation of a really connected community that, I guess, helps children to recover in a safe and healthy environment.
I think in general it's a really overwhelming environment. So there's a lot of sound, there's a lot of every room, despite what is wrong with your patient, there's a lot of equipment that at like a minimum has to stay in the room. Obviously we've got a lot of invasive things going on to their child as well. So I think even just coming into the unit, it's very confusing on where to go. We can't go and greet them at the door when they come through here. There's no one really there to tell them where to go. We just sort of talk to them through the phone, and that's probably not the most ideal way to tell them where to go if they've never been in here before. And I think that that's quite confusing and confronting, and we do have the little footprints on the ground to sort of guide them, but even that's probably not ideal in a situation where it's really stressful.
So for different cultures, I don't think this environment is very helpful. But let's just talk the Aboriginal population. 90% of them are from up north, who live in an area that is not got lifts. They don't have the shops that we have. They don't have access to all this. So this is totally foreign to them.
The first thing is on their expressions on their faces. You kind of read everything of what they're experiencing, and it could be very scary for them at the same time.
The sheer amount of information that's being thrown at them is probably the thing that I think was the most daunting that they will face. We know where things are. Even the footprints that are around the unit they're a COVID innovation. Yeah. We never really had any way of finding a way around before that. There's a lot of little things, like there is no parents' toilet within the unit.
The value of the HEAL collaboration really is looking at our environment and our work with a different lens. I think as clinicians we often think about our own workflow and our own tasks, and inadvertently I think we put families and consumers secondary often. And I think what HEAL is doing with this collaboration is really looking at things with a totally different perspective and seeing how consumers use the space, how the space feels for them, what their requirements are from the service. So really looking at it from a different perspective, but building it from the needs rather than what clinicians might assume somebody needs.
This project needed to develop a lot of materials in a short time. This is where the WIL program was set with Design Lab as industry partner to link with PICU team. And following the brief from project engagement strategies, the students developed materials including online, posters, materials for promotion of the events, and so on.
I think this project is really unique and helpful because it's using a different sort of thinking. So we're using design thinking rather than health and clinical sort of thinking. So we're trying to think about the future and how we can improve what's going forward in PICU. So I really wanted to be a part of that because I think it's a really interesting way to look about problem solving, and I think it's really important that we do benefit the lives of children and parents in PICU.
Working with and getting to know the QCH PICU staff over the course of weekly site visits has been an absolute pleasure. learning from these people that just give so much of themselves, and then being able to maybe share a little bit about what we do as designers, it's become a really rewarding experience and I think a true partnership.